Alright, so we know the addition rule of exponents now, but maybe instead of multiplying two things with the same base, maybe I want to divide those two expressions. So we know x to the fifth means x times itself 5 times, and x squared is x times x. If I start reducing this fraction to lowest terms, I say, well, I can knock this x out, I can knock that x out, and now I'm out of things on the bottom. So I have x to the third on top and a 1 on the bottom. Remember, if the denominator of a fraction is 1, we don't have to write it, unless we need it in fraction form for something we're doing down the road. So notice that we started with a 5 on top and a 2 on the bottom, and we ended up with 3 altogether. And so instead of when multiplication we were adding the exponents, division, as it turns out, we get to subtract. Now, for that rule to hold, it needs to hold for all situations. So maybe I have x to the third over x to the eighth. And I always pick a bigger number than I mean to. So let's look what happens if we write it all out. 7, 8. And we start reducing. We can take 3 x's away from the top and the bottom. When the 1 is on top of the fraction, it's not optional to write. We have to leave it up there. And if we count up on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have x to the fifth. Now we said here in the blue rule that, well, what we'd like for it to be true is if we take the top exponent minus the bottom exponent, we would like to just be able to do that subtraction and be done. On the top one, we took 5 minus 2 and got 3, okay, and that was the right answer. But notice if I take 3 minus 8, I get a negative 5. So the rule that I have written there in blue really is the rule. But now we have to make sure we understand and have a definition for an exponent that's negative. Understand that having an exponent that's negative does not mean the number or fraction or term itself is a negative number. It just tells us that that term is located on the bottom of the fraction. So x to the negative 5 is the same thing as 1 over x to the positive 5. Okay. So if I have x to the negative 10, I can rewrite that as 1 over x to the positive 10. Or y to the negative 4 power is the same thing as 1 over y to the positive 4 power. The negative exponent drops that term to the bottom of the fraction and makes the exponent positive. Again, when we start putting numbers in for the bases instead of x's and y's, students sometimes get confused. But 2 to the negative 3 power just means 1 over 2 to the positive 3 power. Now, of course, with numbers, I like to write 2 to the third power as 8 instead of leaving it as 2 cubed. Okay, but 2 to the negative 3 power is 1 over 8. Now, the thing we have to be careful of when we're doing these rules, it's just like with order of operations or anything else. A lot of you will be able to tell me the rule out loud, tell me I'm supposed to subtract the exponents, Ms. Jackson. Top exponent minus the bottom exponent. But not all of you will do that in practice when you sit down to do the arithmetic. So here in just a moment, I'm going to put a few examples here. And once I get them all written on here, I want you to pause the video and try to work through them one at a time and do the arithmetic, being very careful with your signs. I'm trying to talk and make up examples at the same time. That doesn't always do well for me. I've got do those 4. Okay. So again, pause your video here in just a moment and work through all 4 of these, doing the right arithmetic, and then turn on the video when you're ready to see what the answers are. So the top left, 4 minus -2. When we put those numbers together, we get 6. Okay, positive 6. If we take -5 minus a -9, 5 minus -9 is plus a positive 9. And so that 9 minus 5, we get x to the positive 4 there. On the top right, if we take -2 minus 4 more, we end up with -6 for our exponent. Okay, and the rule is, in our final answer, we can never leave any of the exponents negative. Negative signs, like if we have a -2 down in front, that's fine. But -2 or -6 in the exponent, not fine. We need to rewrite. Okay. So if you get a negative number in one of your intermediate steps, your sums or differences or products when we do another video, then in your final answer you need to fix that. Okay, so here we're going to leave 1 over x to the 6. On the last one, 2 minus 5 is -3. So again, because the exponent was negative, I need to rewrite the expression and make the exponent positive, leaving 1 over x cubed. Make sure when you're using this rule that you do the correct arithmetic. And again, if you get a negative exponent, then you should, I'm going to use the word fix it, but rewrite the expression so the exponent's positive before you circle your answer.